Every month I play a TBR game that I made called Escape the TBR. Throughout the year, I did read a lot of the books that I put on my TBRs, but not all of them. So I'm going to be spending the next 48 hours reading as many books as I can to catch up and get to the final 8, I believe, on this list. There are 3 more, but those were on my TBR because of specific videos they are going in. Those videos will still be happening, but they're being pushed to next year, so I didn't want to include them in this list. I have some different options. I have some longer ones, some shorter ones, some books that I've been putting off for a while, some books I'm scared of, some I'm really interested in. So for the next 48 hours, I'm going to read as much as I can from this list. I will be doing the 48 hours from 9 a.m. today to 9 a.m. in 2 days. So all I have to do is 4 books a day. No, but really, I am about to go to Dunkin' to get a cookie butter cold brew. Then I have to go to the post office. I need to get gas. I need to go to Michael's to get something for a Christmas present. And I'm also starting a reading journal. I attempted one last year, but I didn't really keep up with it. So I'm going to get some supplies for that. And when I do that, I'm going to be starting the audiobook for Small Angels. I got this from Book of the Month. It's one I keep putting off. So I wanted to give myself the push to get it done by starting with this one. I have made it 42 pages into Small Angels, which is 11%, and I'm going to DNF this already. So this is a gothic kind of historical, maybe a little bit of horror story. It says, in a hypnotic tale of sisterhood, first love, and hauntings, a wedding in a small English village stirs up unsettling magic and forces a troubled family's secret out into the open. I just found myself like really struggling to continue it. I had a few different stops that I made throughout the morning. I went to Dunkin'. Look at how cute this little bag was for my donut. But every time I had to pause it because I got somewhere else, I found it really, really hard to pick it back up again. It's just not the kind of story that I'm generally interested in. And I got it. I wasn't really aware of, I guess, what it was going to be. And also my reading tastes. I've learned a lot this past year. So I thought I would like it more than I am. There's no reason to push through it, and I would not be continuing with it even if I was reading it for a different video. Like, the time constraint of 48 hours and trying to get through these 8 books, which I'm not going to do, isn't like making me DNF it, even though I would usually continue. It's too historical. It's too just like, I guess, slow moving. I don't care about anything that's going on. I'm struggling to focus because of that, and it's just not worth continuing for me. So kind of sad it didn't work, but also glad to have this off my TBR, to know that it's not for me and I can unhaul it. I have a couple options for what I can start next. I'm thinking either Their Vicious Games or A Nearly Normal Family. I do want to prioritize A Nearly Normal Family because I put it on my TBR again in December for this video. So then that's the only one left that I have on my TBR twice. I also want to read Tomie. I don't know. Big plans, not enough time. So I'll check in again once I've picked what I'm reading. We are 12 hours into this. It is now 9 p.m. I have started Their Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. I am not making good progress today. I had to film, edit, and upload a video, do some other editing. The end of the year is really hard for keeping up with content. There's so many end of year videos that I want to put out, so I'm constantly doing stuff. I've been doing work the whole time I've been filming this video on top of reading, but I am now 150 pages in, and we are following Adina, who is on scholarship at the prestigious Edgewater Academy. It's a school for the super rich, like all of the senators' children and a whole bunch of rich people go there. And Adina finds herself in a situation where she makes a rich girl very angry, and she gets all of her college acceptances like taken back. She was accepted into Yale, Harvard, maybe, like the big ones, like very popular Ivy League schools. So now she finds herself taking the only chance to regain her future. It is a high stakes contest sponsored by Edgewater's founding family called The Finish, and 12 young ambitious women with exceptional promise are selected to compete in 3 mysterious events: the Ride, the Raid, and the Royale. The winner will be granted entry into the fold of the Remington family, whose wealth and power can open any door. And then she gets there, realizes that things are very different than what she expected. So it's really interesting. YA sometimes doesn't work for me because I feel like it's like too just like high school drama, you know, which is fine, but it's not what I want to read. This one deals with rich people and their problems, but Adina is not rich. She's on scholarship, and she's dealing with the fact that she is the only person that does not come from money, and also one of the few Black students. So she is targeted in different scenarios for different reasons. I'm really enjoying the discussions on both class and race privilege in here. And then the game stuff, very sinister, and I'm really interested in it. I don't think I've read a lot of YA books this year, but so far I'm having such a good time with this. I do have to do a little more editing, but I would love to get another decent chunk of this done tonight. So I will talk to you again. I feel like I'm failing this already. I'm glad I did 48 hours instead of 24. Good morning. Last night I got to page 266 in Their Vicious Games, and I'm really liking this. It's such a fun time. I love books that have this like game element in it where you don't really know what to expect. There are 3 main games that the characters are playing, and where I stopped, they are about to start the second one. We are finding little glimpses of it, and I was not expecting that to be in here. The whole situation is very vicious. The stakes that they're playing for is very interesting. It's an interesting conversation just with like people and their money, and I'm really liking it. On top of the class privileges and like how rich people can get away with anything, there is still the conversations on race that I'm enjoying. I'm really liking our main character. I think she's interesting, and the things that she is going through, and then like the way she's thinking about things, I'm really interested in reading. There are some like pretty villainous characters in here, which I think is fun. I really can't wait to see how the other games go and how this wraps up, because there's only one real way, but like how are we going to get there? I have like an hour and 20 something minutes left at my speed of the audiobook, so I'm gonna hopefully get through this very soon, but I'm having a really good time. You know those times where I'm just planning to lay down and like not specifically like take a nap but just rest, and then you wake up 2 hours later? Yeah, that was today. But this morning I was reading and finished Tomie. I don't really know how to pronounce this. I think somebody told me Tomie. Thanks, Bowser. And that's what I've been saying. But I did finish this. I didn't like this. I am going to give it 2 stars. So the plot of this is that there's this girl, Tomie, I don't know. And she's so beautiful, and everybody wants to be with her so badly that they want to kill her. And in this, just like in Uzumaki, it's a bunch of like little stories that are like using the same theme. Uzumaki means spiral. Now the Bowser's done barking. So Uzumaki means spiral, so all of the stories were about spirals, but they all felt different. In this one, every single story was about how somebody came in contact with Tomie. She's so beautiful, and they just like couldn't take it anymore. And I'm just like, why do we need this many pages of something that is that same story over and over and over? There was one that I really liked. That one stuck with me a little bit, but like not nearly as much as ones in Uzumaki did. Uzumaki made my favorites of last year. I started this year with Gyo, and I give it 2 stars, and I'm ending the year with Tomie, and I'm giving it 2 stars. Very unfortunate. I thought I was really gonna like this one. I think that if it was shorter, I could have, but like it did not need to be this long. Like, I'm really sad about it. I thought about not finishing it, but I was like, well, all of the stories like are different, so there could be some really good ones in there, and that didn't happen. I was personally not having a good time, but at least it was a quick read. And then I finished this and immediately took a 2-hour nap, so good for me. Not good for me getting a lot of reading done. I am currently crocheting for my nephew's Christmas present, so I'm gonna do that and get back to Their Vicious Games. I have finished Their Vicious Games. I accidentally put the book over there, but I don't want to disturb Winston and get up, and I have all this yarn here with me. So Their Vicious Games, I ended up really enjoying it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I think that it was really well done. It kept my attention the whole time. I enjoyed the end, and for YA, like 4 stars is really good for me. I don't have any specific complaints. I just generally with YA want it to be darker. I mean, this was dark. There was a lot of stuff in here, but yeah, I ended up really enjoying it. I would for sure recommend it. It is gory, it is violent, but there's a lot of really good discussions in here. I really liked how everything was done. Really, no complaints. I wish I had more to say, but I don't want to give away anything that happened in the games, because part of the fun is learning about them, because our main character doesn't know until we are in that situation. So that's why it's really hard to talk about this book. But if you like games and books, I would recommend it. If you like discussions on rich people and how ridiculous they can be, you should pick this up. It's also very entertaining on top of having really good discussions in it. So if you're looking for a YA thriller, you should for sure read this one. I love games and books. because this is one that I really enjoyed. So it's now 8:30 and I'm just now going to be starting A Nearly Normal Family. We'll see if I can get it done in time. I'm so tired, but I have made it 150 pages into into A Nearly Normal Family by M.T. Edverson. This is translated, which is fun. Really, I feel like my brain is not functioning right now. Like, comprehending it's fine, but speaking, not. So this is following a family, a father who is a pastor, the mother who is a criminal defense attorney, and an 18-year-old daughter. And the daughter, Stella, at the very beginning is accused of murder. She has just turned 18, and there's this like 32-year-old that she's accused of murdering at a playground at like 1 in the morning or something on her birthday, the day after, I can't remember. So this is split into 3 parts. So part 1 is all from the dad's perspective. His name is Adam, and we are following his account on everything leading up to this. So we learn about him learning about things, his reactions to the situation and how it's affecting him personally. They aren't allowed to be in contact with Stella. Like, they haven't been able to speak to her once. This is a Scandinavian book, so I don't know their rules and stuff. And then part 2 is going to be from Stella's perspective, and then the last one is the mom. I'm assuming in part 2 we're going to find out like what actually happened, because everything leading up to that was just his opinions on things and how like Stella acted growing up and stuff like that. So this is part 1, part 2, and then part 3 is the smallest by the mother. I'm really enjoying this so far. It's really interesting. It is reminding me with like the themes of the book, Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, which was one of my favorite books of last year. I think that one was really interesting. Is that a spider? Just watched a spider like propel down from my little couch on its web. Anyway, I'm interested to see what actually happens. We are learning about the guy that was murdered. He seems like he's not a great guy. Like, we're learning about his connections to Stella and everything, and then other people as well. I'm liking the structure of this book. I'm interested to see if we're gonna like see the same timeline happening from every perspective, or if we're gonna get like further back. I'm assuming we're gonna get further back with Stella and how she comes to know this man, but I'm having a surprisingly good time with this. It has a really high rating, and like, I really do tend to like legal thrillers. If I'm gonna enjoy a crime book, it's going to be a legal thriller more so than like a detective investigating things. So this is working really well for me. It just sucks that it's so long and it's already midnight. So I'm struggling with time management. Also, I've been crocheting, still making toast. But I'm gonna get back to reading. I have made it to the end of part 2 of A Nearly Normal Family, which is like 75% in. I ended up going to bed so late and I got 6 hours of sleep, so I still have like an hour and 20 minutes left of listening at my speed for the audiobook for part 3, so I'm not gonna get done in the 48 hours, but I figured I would finish the book. So part 2 was following Stella, the daughter, who's the one accused of murder. Part of it is when she's in prison. Part of it is like getting her recounting what had happened. So we are learning about the events that led up to this murder happening. We still don't know a lot of information, which makes sense because if they told us everything in part 2, like, what's the point of reading the rest of it? But there's been some like realization, seeing the events from the first part in like a different light has been interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I still agree with the fact that it's giving me vibes of Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, but that one was a little more interesting because of the time travel stuff. I'm very pleasantly surprised by this. It's been a very quick read. It's like kind of slower, like not a lot is happening all the time with like it being super exciting and stuff, but it's moving along and it's for sure keeping my attention. I have some theories, and I have for a while, and I feel like they're being revealed to be correct. I think this is supposed to be like a really emotional story about like what you would do for your family and all this stuff. I'm not emotional, but I think it's interesting and I'm enjoying my time reading it. So I'm gonna go. I'm already not gonna finish on time, so I think I'm gonna get a shower to wake myself up, and then I'm gonna finish this. I have finished A Nearly Normal Family. We're not gonna talk about what time it is because it is definitely the afternoon. I did finish a little bit ago, but I just could not get up. I'm so tired. Anyway, I am gonna give this 3.5 stars. I was really invested in the beginning, and then I liked some stuff at the end, but I think my main complaint is it was too long. We were getting new information on different things in each scenario, but I wasn't as invested because I'm like, I already know generally what this is. So that's my main complaint. I think it is a fun setup, but I think if it was shortened a little bit, it would have worked a little bit better for me. I do think my enjoyment as I was going through it went down because of that, but overall I think this is a good one if you are interested in like family dynamics and stuff like that. If you like legal thrillers, this is one that I would say to give it a go. And I think if I would have read this a while ago when it came out, it's 4 years old at this point, which isn't that old, but I feel like when thrillers come out is the best time to read them, because if you don't, then you could read something afterwards that was kind of inspired by that. But like, since you've already read the thing that inspired it, then like it's not as exciting. Not that I've read that many legal thrillers, but people are talking about how like unique this thing is, and I feel like I've read it since then. So 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. So I had 8 books that I was trying to get through at the beginning of this, and I got through 4. I did DNF Small Angels. I'm going to be unhauling this one. I finished Tomie. I'm really disappointed by this, but it's a library copy, so it is just gonna go back to the library. I really enjoyed their Vicious Games. This is my favorite book that I read in this video. I had a lot of fun with it. I would recommend it. I would read more from this author. I had a really great time with this. And then 3.5 stars for A Nearly Normal Family. So I am happy with this. There are 4 I did not get through, but that's okay. I kind of think that these ones were my top priorities anyway. If you enjoyed this video, I saw Meg with Books do it recently as well, so her video will be linked in the description. I think she did 72 hours to read as many from her TBR game that she could. I would have loved to do a video where I got through all of them, but I don't have time for that. I struggled with this 48 hours. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. If you made it to the end and want to leave me an emoji to say that you made it, you can leave me a woman, girl, or Tomie. I don't know why I picked that one because I can't say the title. If you missed my video where I talked about all the books I didn't get to and some stats for that, I will have that linked. And I'll also have a playlist for my TBR game linked for you as well. If you're looking to find me in other places on the internet, everything is linked in the description, including my Bookstagram, my Storygraph, and my Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hope to see you in my next one. Bye!